Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I don't really want to talk about a specific book because there's one that kind of goes on this topic that I want to talk about. And it comes down to something that I think a lot of us should really think hard about in our lives. Why should anybody listen to you? Who are you that something should listen to you? What have you done? What have you put together? What have you accomplished? What have you been able to help others out with to be able to get someone to be able to listen to you? And that same logic that I just going on a run today really put it in my brain. Why should the dog listen to you? What have you done to it to make it look at you and say, you're the one. You're the one that I want to be able to pay attention to. You've done this, you've done that, and I appreciate you for doing that. So now that's why I should pay any attention to what it is that you have to say. Because it's like, that's one thing that I can say. Why even listen to anything that I say? I'm not the world competitive champion. I'm not any of that. I'm just a simple, regular human being on this planet that's doing what I can to figure out more on these lands and not just staying stagnant. And I believe that stagnancy, I don't know if that's a word or not, but where we're going with that, is the reason on why your simple animal and everyone else around doesn't want to actually listen to you. That's the biggest thing that this is like hands down the number one thing that people would say to me. I knock on the door or I answer the phone call on someone saying, I need some help with this dog. And I say, okay, what's going on? My dog doesn't listen to me. Why should it listen to you? Who are you? Who are you to that animal? This is the thing that I think a lot of us are struggling with today is the considered main character syndrome. That we're like, we're it. We got all the answers, we know it all, and everything around us should pay attention to us. But why? Who are you? What are you doing? What are you benefiting? What are you helping out with? What's going on for anything to want to listen to you? Don't demand that something is going to want to listen to you. Person, especially people, but especially your dogs. Don't demand that it should just because. You feed it, cool, you're keeping it alive. You give it water, oh, you're doing the basic bare minimums. You're giving it some shelter, congratulations. You're giving the animal the needs that's basic bare minimum to keep it alive. Now, we want to do more than just staying alive. This is the big thing that I think on why it's hard for anyone to want to listen to what anyone has to say today. Because you're in that stagnant state. You're not like progressing to more and more and more. And when you're not progressing anymore, that's why I would say is why would the dog care to want to listen to you? Because you don't want to do anything more. You just want to do I feed it, I pet it, I give it water, and that's it. Why should it listen to you? What are you doing for it? What are you showing from something else to be able to explain on why it should pay attention to you? I think we're getting so selfish as a people that we just demand that it better or else, or else, straight up. That's the best way of using right there. I'm going to give you this leash. I'm going to put the seat collar on you or else I'm going to dangle this treat in front of your face or else. It's like you think that you have this like God syndrome in us. That it's like I could dictate to that dog to tell it what to do and it has no choice but to listen to me. That's not right. That's not right at all. We're taking the choice away. We're stripping the choice. That's why everything that you strip away from being able to choose doesn't really want to be with you. And that's why it doesn't want to listen to you. Because you're not even giving it a choice to listen to you. Because you're not even doing anything for it to even look up to you to say, hey, I want to listen to you. You're something very fascinating to be able to want to be around. The presence of you being around just does something to me, so I want to be around that. As opposed to just coming in with a whole lot of chaos and a whole lot of strife and a whole lot of just stagnant nothingness. Just sit, do nothing. Hang out, do nothing. Don't even pick up the book. Don't even watch a movie that can even help you and change your life. You're just stuck in this, I don't want to go anymore. The biggest question I always ask is why you have this dog. And this is a question that I think everyone should really start to ask that. Why is it there? I can go even deeper with that. Why is your spouse even with you right now? Why did you decide that I want to be in this relationship with somebody or anything? How did that even start? What was going on in your world that you're like, I need this? As opposed to just being by yourself and having nothing at all. What's missing in there? Because that's the those words, the key ingredient right there of like, what's going on? And how to actually like get into a better place to get something to want to listen to you. Because you're going to be able to explain to it why we're here and what's going on. as opposed to saying you don't have a choice. This is just what it is. That's that part in me that just a lot of folks, unfortunately, you got these holes in you. You got this like lack in you. You got this loneliness in you. That's you need to bring something else in for it to please you. As opposed to you just realizing that you also have things to be able to do to others to get them to want to please you. It's not just a guarantee. You don't just sit down and everyone around you is just going to magically just listen to everything you say, do everything that you say, and just comply to all about who you are. The world just doesn't work that way. When it comes down to controlling people, you can get superficial results. This is what I see from most folks, superficial results. It looks good when you got this on, you're in this scenario doing this, but just the overall, it's not good. It's actually going downhill. It's actually getting worse. It's going absolutely nowhere. Why should anything listen to what it is that you have to say? Because I go even deeper with that. Why don't you listen to your own self? Why do you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't get it done? Why do you tell yourself that you're going to go here and you don't go there? Why do you tell yourself that you're going to start this program or this something and you don't do it? Why do you tell yourself that you're going to shut the TV off for 15 extra minutes today, but you don't do it? If you don't listen to yourself, why the heck should anything around you listen to you? How we've gotten to a place that this is why for me, like straight up, as much as I've already said this and I've already done it, I've already fired myself from being a said traditional dog trainer because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense on how I can just keep hearing the same language over and over. If it doesn't listen to me, and I need to figure out how to be able to force it to listen to me now, because it doesn't want to be around me. So how can I make it want to be around me? What do I have to do to make this animal want to be with me? You can't train a relationship. I don't think that most people understand that. And I'd want more people to really just like let that sink in. You can't train a relationship. You cannot train your child to appreciate you. You cannot train your spouse to love you, to want to care for you, to want to be there for you. You can't train it. You can't like buy them something and then hope that it's going to be good. You can't like give them affection and praise and hope that it's going to be good. You can't train it. You cannot make anything just want to be there because you're forcing it to be there. It's going to want to get further away. The biggest issues that are going on with most folks with the simple animal, and not even just that, but all relationships across the board, is you think that you could train it. You think that you could do something to like make it want to appreciate you more, as opposed to just doing nothing at all and seeing what comes to you. Some of the greatest language that I've ever heard. One of the preacher man said, I just really like this guy. A lot of what he says. And that's something that he definitely said. He old school. He's like 80 something. He's about to be 90 years old. He old school. And he's like, I don't understand you young guys that are out here just buying these ladies all this stuff. I can't like talk to a single female today that's on some, you got to buy me this, you got to buy me this. Buy me this, buy me this. It's like you're trying to buy, you're buying your way in to get that, you're buying a relationship, you're training a relationship. As opposed to, he's like, you don't do nothing. Do nothing. Nothing at all. And if they come and they stay and hang out with you, as much praise, like, great, that's awesome. But if they don't want to be with you, you can't force it. You can't do anything to convince them that you are what they want to be with. And what's neat about a dog is you just simply keep it on a leash and just do nothing with it. And eventually it's going to look at you and say, hey, buddy, you're actually pretty cool. You're not like yanking me here. You're not dragging me here. You're not doing this to me here. You're not doing that to me here. You're not like just trying to overfeed me and shove all this food in my face here. They just like, oh, wow, I can hang out with you. This is pretty cool. Because you're going to do nothing with that animal. To allow that animal to even realize who you are. Who you are. Not who the fakeness is when, woohoo, yeah, what's up, we're going to do. Not that fake madness that you can't maintain. Because it's not who you are. But to get to know who you are. That's one thing that I realize is, why should the dog listen to us? Who are we for it to just really look at us and say, yeah, I got you. I'll come back from that deer. I'll come back from that rabbit. Just because. There's a lot that it's fascinating. Just going for runs with my dog. I'm just like, let's go for a run. I just like that Dalmatian. She still can't quite run what I want to run. We stopped at about 8 miles today. And I was just looking at her like, man, you tired, huh? She just like moseying along. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I need to get like 3 or 4 more of y'all, just cycle y'all out so we can get in a good run today. But just the effort that I see that she puts into it. I can't train that. The enthusiasm that she's got. She's like, yeah, we're going to go do this. I can't train that. The excitement that she's just like, yeah, woohoo, let's go run. I can't train that. But that's like the stuff that people want with their dogs. That excitement when she sees a deer or something and she's just like, I'm going to go get it. And I'm like, not this one. That she just looks back. She's like, okay, well, I'll just hang with you right now. I can't train that. Pretty much everything that people are you're like to the core looking for out of your relationships in your life, you can't train it. You got to just be what you want to be able to see. You got to be the one that you want for others to be like you. Because the book that I just saw the title of, I'm like, man, dang, that does make sense. How to get your, it's a parenting book. How to get your kids to listen to you. And it's how to get them to listen, and also you to be able to listen to them. That's the key component right there, that my dog doesn't listen to me. Great, you don't listen to them. They're telling you they got to do something. They're telling you, I need to make this happen. Your children, your spouse, your coworkers, your everything. You're telling you to do something. You're not listening. You're not listening. You're sitting there watching people talk, and you're just running your own thoughts of like what you want to input without listening to what someone else or something else is actually saying to you. You're not listening. And when you're not listening, why should anything want to listen to you? You can't train that. You gotta just be it. You gotta do it. And one thing, just shut up and stand there. And don't have no input on what it is that you think that you want from it, but just listen. And listen. And understand what's going on with what you're listening to. And speak back what that person just said or that thing just said so that it knows that you're listening. When it knows that you're listening, it's gonna want to open up a big, huge line of communication with you. But if you're not listening, it's not gonna want to listen to a single thing that you have to say. It's not gonna listen to nothing you have to say. Like, dogs today are just like, folks just look at them as just this like, I could do whatever the heck I want with it. And they don't function that way. They don't. As much as someone may want it to be that way, it just doesn't work that way. And I don't want to say it's unfortunate, because you can go get yourself a rabbit. You can go get yourself a cat. Cats are pretty independent. They'll come when they want to come around. They'll disappear when they want to disappear. They don't really need much. And if you let that cat outside once a month, hopefully he comes back. Coyotes don't get it. But that cat will fall in love. It'll love you. It'll just look at you like you're the world's greatest thing. But these dogs and other human beings, we can't just put it in the corner and then bring it out and expect that it's going to want to listen to you. This is the, project, my experiment that I'm doing with one of my dogs, my Kahi. I'm expecting that I could put him away and then bring him out when I want to bring him out, that I'm ready to do this now, and just see if the boy is still going to want to listen to me. He's not nearly as good as what my others are, because they don't work that way. They have needs. He at least pretty decent, because, I let him run for 3 or 4 hours a day. We do 6 to 16 miles a day. And that dude be out getting done, doing stuff that's just, most people, no one's doing that in rally straight up. So yeah, he listens to me really, really well. He does really good. But it's not real, I guess I can say. It's him knowing he's going to get something out of this. And if I don't give him what he wants out of it, he ain't going to listen to me no more. That's what I would say is a toxic relationship. Some of my experiments have been doing pretty good, and others just aren't working all that great. And I like to just be able to do that, to see. Not like I'm giving the animals I'm not sitting here doing lab experiments by putting electrodes on their tails or on their stomachs and just shocking them. That's just ruthless. I can't believe that humans do that. They still do that today. That's just ruthless. I couldn't do that. I couldn't be anywhere near that, hearing a dog scream from getting shocked. That's just not me. That's not me. That's why me and e-collar work. You always got to bump it up. You got to bump it up. You can't just, put it at a 5, put it at a 5, put it at a 5. You got to bump it up. And when you bump it up, the dog's going to give a reaction. It's going to give a response. It's just sickens my stomach when I see that response from those dogs. Then we wonder why the dog doesn't want to listen to you. Because you're not listening to it. Thank you. I've been testing this stuff even with my cows. They're patient with me. They never used to be patient with me. They used to be like, if I didn't have food out there, I mean, they would be sitting there hounding me or they're looking for that escape route. And my place isn't like perfectly, it's not anymore. It used to be perfectly, no, it's never perfect, but very secure. But I've noticed that I would look at them and I could see like, y'all hungry, huh? And they would just look back at me and I'll give them something, a little snack, a little something, just to ease the time over if I'm in between getting hay bales or whatever going on. And they look at me over the years and they finally just looked at me and said, hey buddy, you're gonna give me what I need. I'm just gonna hang out. So I ran out of hay I didn't have for 2 days. They literally just sat in this field right here. They just laid there pretty much all day, just hanging out, like sunbathing. I'm like, y'all catching that sun before it's about to get cold here. Because they know I'm gonna give them what they need. They don't need to like be on a rampage or rush about it. They know I'm gonna get it because I always follow through. I always get done what they need. And so they're just like, we'll chill. There's no reason to be pushy. They didn't even meow at me. They didn't even moo at me. They didn't do nothing. They weren't at because usually they'll just literally stand right there on my patio. I'll be sitting there and they're just all sitting there like staring at me. I'm like, hey guys, like chill, I got you. Give me a day. But they're just getting to the point that just the same with the dogs. When I give the dogs what they're looking for, what they need, I'm listening to what they need. They're like, I can wait out. I can wait. I'm good. I'm good. So now today, it's not a matter of hard exercise every day. You'll hit a point that it's just like the dog's like, thank you. Now you can put a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks in between, and the dog's still gonna be good to go. It's because I listened to what he needed, or she needed, or they needed. And then I finally just gave them what they needed. And then I allowed them to flourish and just, I got you, man. I got you. And then they always look back at me and say, hey, man, like, gosh, you hear me? I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I see what's going on with you, buddy. You want to sniff that? Just sniff it. Just sniff it. I'm going to stand here for 10 minutes. Just let you sniff this spot. Just sniff, buddy. Get it out. The dog looks back at me like, oh, you're going to let me smell it? Yeah, smell it, man. I even point to it like, you got it. That smells good, huh? I'm like, yeah, that's nice. That's a good spot, huh? The dogs just stop. And they just like literally, most of them will just shake it off because they're not used to being able to do that because they're used to like just dragging them all around. And the dog just stops, shake it off and looks at you like, buddy, thank you. And as soon as that dog does that, you start to get why the dog should start to listen and how the dog's going to start to listen. This goes with everything in any relationship that you're looking for. You can't train it. You got to just take everything from you away. Shut up. Sit down and just listen to what something else is trying to say to you. And just understand what they're saying to you. And if you're a little confused, you ask some questions to figure out more of what it is that you're hearing. Don't just brush it off. That's the thing that's just missing. It's like everyone's on this I've read so many like couple what do you call it? Like marriage couples, like help books, I guess. Like husband and wife having issues, what to do. They always have this stuff where they're like trying to train, like you got to do this and you do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, as opposed to just doing nothing and just sitting down. Literally, sit down in silence together. Sit down. Stop putting expectations out on what something as how somebody should be with you. And just have zero and just say, hey, you good. Just shut up. And do nothing at all. And you'll see something absolutely magical happen. Because you're going to want to figure out what that person is actually looking for, as opposed to just putting your will upon them, but listening to what their will is. Just shut up and listen. Hear what they got to say. Hear what's going on with them. Hear the problems. Hear the struggles. And if it's awkward struggles, then y'all lady go talk to another girl about that. Don't talk to your husband about that. But just sit there and just listen and understand what's going on. As opposed to like, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to set this date night up, we got to do this, we got to kiss each other more during the day. You're trying to train a relationship. You can't train it. You got to just be it. And it all comes down to listening to the other part. And you shut up. Because nothing should listen to you. You're at the end of the day, folks, this is all of us. We're all a nobody. We're nothing. But somehow our egos are so inflated, like we think we the best of the best. I got it all. I got all the answers. I got it all figured out. I'm the best. I got it all. You never got it all. You never got it all. And the moment that you think that you got it all, that's when everything around you is going to start to be destroyed. Because you're not going to listen anymore. Because you're going to want everybody to listen to you as if you got the right answers. You don't. You don't.